Good afternoon and welcome to today's program. This event is brought to you by the Pacific Northwest Defense Coalition and Local Fresh. First, I want to confirm that everybody can see and hear the screen okay, see and hear okay. If you could just type yes in the question field to confirm that you're all set, we'll begin the presentation. Great, thank you. Please feel free to use this same question field to ask a question at any time during the program. Just type your question in the webinar dashboard and we will share this with our speaker. Please also see the handout tab for a copy of today's program, as well as a list of upcoming PNDC events. We are pleased to have Kevin Schrandt and Aaron Cohen from Local Fresh joining us here today. Local Fresh is one of PNDC's wonderful sustaining members, and we've asked Kevin and Aaron to share some of their advice and best practices, including today's program on how to use video to engage your customers, grow your business, and build your brand. Thank you for joining us, Kevin and Aaron. Please begin the presentation.
Thanks, Kate. We appreciate you allowing us to do the webinar today. Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully everybody can hear both Aaron and I. This is Kevin's voice, and this is
Aaron's voice. Hello, everybody.
Hello. So briefly, I just want to go through and start the presentation by saying Local Fresh is a digital marketing agency. We do anything and everything marketing. Most of it is in online applications, but we do a lot of traditional marketing as well, whether it's print collateral or event marketing, or the topic today, video marketing. I'm one of the founders, and I do company management and marketing, and Aaron does the creative direction of our video projects. I do want to say that there's a lot of information on the World Wide Web about videos and video production, and we just wanted to show some of the groups that we had gotten a lot of this information from that helped us put together the presentation. There's a lot of these groups you probably know, and some of them you don't, but this is what the market research companies and market intelligence companies that we got a lot of the information for today's presentation. So with that, I just wanted to start with a simple eye test. So when you go to the doctor, you put your hand over one eye or the other, and they ask you which line is clearer. In this case, which image is clearer. And recently the PNDC had an event that had two presenters of information, and one used an image on the left from Leupold, which is a scope manufacturer here in the greater Portland area, and they make scopes for both hunting rifles and military rifles. And on the left is the Oregon Manufacturers Innovations Center. Two different slides, two different presenters. The one presenter started off theirs with a brand and the video. And when the second person got up to say, this is my presentation, the first thing out of their mouth was, I wish I had a video like Leupold's to explain my slide. But just wanted to show you that we're going to be seeing a lot of this relevance of video that's replacing the spoken word and text today. With that, there's a lot of video market data out there. Like I said, according to the Aberdeen Group, video helps prospect leads, prospect people to give them interest, bring interest to our products and our services. It also helps expand and promote the brand or bring brand awareness. Think with Google says that people actually queue up videos before going to the store or buying something online. So they're looking for a product and service before they actually make a purchase decision. WordStream, this is the one that talked about the two previous brands that I just showed, or the two different slides. Video to text retention is 95 to 10%, which means that people watching a video of the same message or the same content, people watching that video retain the information 95% versus 10% if they were to read that contextually. Pretty amazing statistic. TechCrunch says that a video is far more likely to turn up in a search result versus a text article of similar content or the same content. And perhaps the most staggering of these statistics is Cisco says that 82% of all web traffic in 2020 will be video. So let's bring this home a little closer to home with some of the brands that you might know and that you might work with. YouTube, there's about a little over 6.5 billion people on the planet, and 50% of those people have access to the internet. Well, a third of that is using video each and every day, or at least viewing video each and every day, according to YouTube. Over 1 billion users per day. HubSpot claims that in terms of almost 50% of online users watch up to an hour of video per day. And Facebook, they say that 85% of their videos are watched without sound. So if you have a production or a video clip where you're relying on the sound to carry the message, it may not be heard. So, and the other part of this is that square is the new preferred format instead of horizontal, or vertical even is a preferred format because people are looking at and engaging with the internet and videos with a mobile device. Most staggering of these events or these statistics that I found here is that there's more content uploaded every 30 days than US television networks have created in the past 30 years, according to WordStream. So video is prevalent. Video is here. So what do? We could surmise just by this statistical data right now that you need a video marketing strategy for your company. But now what?
So when you're looking at video marketing, and this is Aaron, I always look at it as what questions do we need to ask ourselves, or what questions do we need to ask of our customers? Like, what are they asking that we need to answer as a company? So first, we would look at your prior use of video. So a lot of people have video and have used it already. A number of these videos are user generated, which means they're either shot or created by people at the company associated with a location, and they look and feel a certain way. So if that use of video is to engage with a customer, either new or old, these are things to look at for how you did it before and what areas you were able to distribute it on and reach out to. What's the purpose of the videos you're looking to do? And we'll get into this a little bit more later, but the purpose of the videos would be to engage, and in what capacity? Are you selling products? Are you trying to do a trade show videos? Are you engaging with your employees? Are you engaging with customers directly? These are things to look at as far as what voice are we telling these videos in, and how do we want our brand to come across. The other question would be what are your video marketing goals? How big do you want to go with your video marketing? Do you want it to be a strategy that you would incorporate into each individual product or each individual customer? And do you want your video to show the minute details of what you offer as a product and how it's sold? Where will your videos be displayed? This we'll get into a little bit later as far as websites such as YouTube or Vimeo that can do that. And also your direct website displayed at trade shows, shown in booths, shown in store, and things of that nature. And then what types of videos are required? So this is where we get into the types of videos that exist that we can tap into to best serve what your company needs are and what your brand needs are. So for marketing videos, what types exist? So there are many, many types of videos that we can go out and do, and that would help a customer understand your product better and employees understand what you're doing. So the first most basic video is an About Us explainer videos. And these explainer videos could be anything from a single video, 5 minutes in length, that explains what your company does, the products it produces, and how they're used. An explainer video can also tie into one specific usage. So if you have a product that is used across many different types of services, whether it's tech or medical or military or whatever it might be, you could have an explainer for each specific customer that explains how your company produces products that are just for them. Product and or service. So these videos are specified to a specific product. So if you have one new item that is on the market or that you're bringing to market, that video would highlight just that item, what it does, and what it offers. And the great thing about those is they're great for website, and you could reuse them at trade shows and get a real return on your investment for those videos because they're multi-purposed across multiple platforms at once. Tutorial and or training. So these videos are for internal communications and for customer use if you have a service in which they would need lessons on. So if it's a software program and you want to teach a customer how to use it better, you would do a direct tutorial on that, and that could be something that is shot directly on video, or it could be an animated video using either 2D, 3D, or structural animation. Training videos are also good internally in regards to if you have people all over the world and all over the country, and you're sending your product to them, a video accompanying that product can show them how best to use it, a safety video and how best to stay safe while using that product. And they can access that on their phone in the field, right? And all these things are really useful now that there's all these devices in which to consume this media. Client and customer testimonials, where we would interview and discuss with certain customers, their experiences with you and your products, which also could be incorporated into product and service videos. Live stream and trade show and event marketing. This could be used for multiple purposes, such as using a product video in a trade show or filming a video at a trade show to show other people in the company what that experience was like. So these experience videos that you can film at these locations to show maybe employees or people that weren't at that function is also positive to show that experience. Social post and advertisement is pretty straightforward for what it is. Anything on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they all have video options now. As Kevin mentioned, what's most important is optimizing those videos for that specific platform. All platforms have specific rules and regulations, things you can show, things you can't show, square, 16:9, 4:3, different aspect ratios that they might want to see. Also, as Kevin mentioned, a lot of people are now watching social with no sound. So those images and those videos should be more graphic heavy, more text heavy, things that they don't have to listen to someone say to understand what is happening. Annual shareholder report. So this is where you have something new and you have a shareholder meeting or an annual meeting and you want to show videos about what you've been up to this year, right? Even if someone wants to raise capital, here's what we've done, here's what we've been up to, these are our new products, these are our employees, this is where we work. It's sort of a showcase for everything that you think is great about what you're doing and what you want those people to know. So the key takeaway from this would be a one-off video of any of the aforementioned types can be produced. So a lot of people come to us and say, we just need one video. And that's possible, right? You can definitely do one video. But what's better is doing one video where you can use the footage for a number of different projects, or shoot for a few days and use that footage for your product demo, your explainer video, and a social media video. So the more you film, the more you plan, and the more your video marketing strategy exists, the more content you have in an archive to pull from for future use. And that streamlines your strategy and your budget because it requires less travel, less time ultimately, and a plan that is in place to make that happen. So internal videographer versus creative agency. So this comes up a lot. People people say, we have this company, we're just going to bring somebody on to make videos for us. And that has a lot of positives and negatives to it, I feel, overall. So an in-house videographer, to keep someone busy in-house, requires an expertise of a kind of a jack of all trades approach. You know, an in-house videographer isn't really a thing. It's your in-house complete production, you know, Swiss Army knife of a person. They have to be able to film, edit, produce, script, cast, if you have a cast included, wrangle people, you know, logistics in terms of travel, in terms of keeping all the creative in mind. And so all these things to find in one person, you know, is a kind of a Herculean feat. Not to mention the idea that someone on staff would then also have to keep up to date with all of the current programs, software, and best practices. A multifaceted agency in terms of a single person brings in multiple people with multiple skill sets and creativity to the table, where their only goal is to understand your brand, understand your products, and tell your story in the best way possible. And also keep your entire video strategy in mind while doing that, so they know while we're filming A, what we're filming on this day in this location, we can use this for B, C, D, and E. And that in turn is a long-term plan that works for everybody. Equipment, computers, and storage of large files is a capital investment. So this is always changing, and video files are not getting more and more compressed. They're getting more and more large. You know, we're now filming everything in 4K resolution. While 4K is not what you're going to be showing on streaming, it is what you would preferentially show at a trade show or somewhere else. And the idea that you have that material shot that way to pull on for any type of distribution is better. The better cameras are more expensive. The storage of that is large. And then how do you keep a staff together busy 40 hours a week? So this also is in regards to strategy. You have someone there because someone says, I want to make a number of video projects. We want to have a video marketing strategy. So let's bring someone on to do that for us. You know, they have, you know, 3-4 months of intensive filming, and then their staff, and then what do you do? And I feel like at this point, a lot of times the train goes off the rails in regards to moving away from your strategy and saying, we have someone here, we have to keep them busy. Let's just shoot some videos that don't speak to what we're doing. And that can lead to some marketing concerns down the road. And this speaks to my initial point of a creative team can more effectively tell your story by learning the ins and outs of your business and using that to get more customers and inform your current customers of what's new. So key takeaway number 3, you know, marketers see video as difficult. And it's difficult because it is multiple disciplines simultaneously. You know, it's making a video is truly collaborative, and the company focus should be on what their messaging needs to be, and telling that messaging and focusing on it should be the creative team's responsibility.
So we're going to give a case study now. Columbia Industries is one of our clients out of Hillsboro. They are a manufacturer and engineering company that makes very large equipment for the oil and gas industry and also the waste management. So when they had approached us to concept several videos for them, they said, we went through all these different questions that we just showed a couple slides ago and started going through the whole strategy. And so, Aaron, you can speak to this because you worked with a lot of this type of stuff. But basically, in a nutshell, I'll let Aaron kind of show the different things that we did. But they had disjointed archive footage. They had 10 years worth of video footage shot on 10 different pieces of equipment, shot by 10 different types of personnel, whether it was a sales guy out on a sales call, or an engineer in the field, or somebody in quality assurance that just was trying to give a step-by-step procedure on something. It was just very disjointed, and also the format and the actual quality of all those pieces of footage was disjointed. So, yes, sir.
And then with the archive footage, being shot on multiple platforms by a myriad of internal personnel services, none of it was consistent with what was shot before. So you would say, so and so at this site has a phone that can shoot. Is that footage good enough to show here? So some stuff was user generated, some stuff was shot on different cameras, nothing had a tripod. It was just a matter of, we need a plan to execute what this footage should look like to get our messaging across. And then all that footage, then the storage also factors in, because if we wanted to access that to maybe even use some of it, it's where does it live? Is it properly labeled? How do we identify that? And what is it associated with? And tracking all that material and tracking all that footage is part of what the agency does to make sure that your archive is in place. So when someone says, do we have this video footage that we filmed in 2015, we can look in our archive and say, yes, here it is. Let's look at it again.
And I think from a marketing standpoint, branding was especially absent from all this footage. So some of the footage had a brand logo in it, some of them it did not. So when they were showing things, there wasn't even a consistent brand message amongst all the material. Anyway, we won't spend as much on ad hoc distribution, but it was a similar type of disjointed strategy where they didn't really have a plan on where something could be placed. They just would say, hey, we have a customer in the United Arab Emirates. We want to show them our engineering department. And so someone take a video around and shoot the engineering department so that we have something. There was just, and then where was it placed? It wasn't going to be used on their website. It wasn't going to be used at a trade show, or at last minute they said, hey, let's show that at the trade show. Mm-hmm. So it was just same type of thing there. And then the last one is we need a drone. Well, drones can take very interesting footage. This particular client, we had presented them with a proposal on how to shoot a video using a drone. And they said, well, we'd like to save half of that amount. So we're going to go out and buy our own drone. So they went to Costco and bought the drone, and then they made one of the guys on the team figure out how to read the instruction manual and get the drone up in the air to even shoot footage. 2 weeks later, they came back to us and said, can we dust off that estimate and see where we can go with your proposal? The point being is that it's not as easy as it looks, and especially flying a drone these days is rather a complex initiative.
Yeah, correct. And I'll just jump on that quick to say, the drone now is, everyone is drone savvy in regards to seeing them in the sky, what they do, taking the footage. But there's so many different types now that do so many different things in regards to how they capture it and how the movement works. And it really comes down to the pilot. And certain areas have winds and certain areas are not allowed. And there's FAA certified pilots now, like the one we use, who know the ins and outs of how to use a drone and how that would work. So the first thing that we did for Columbia was take some of their new products and create a strategy that would work for promoting them and getting the word out. Now, these were used for, the promotional videos were used for website and trade show to advertise the new products. The idea was to take a piece of equipment and make it, exciting and fresh and show what it does through text on screen, animation, while keeping it brand consistent, tone consistent, and build a marketing strategy across all these videos so that they would all agree with each other. So the first one up is the Horizon Tipper. We're going to show you a few seconds of this, and they're also available on the deck through links to watch in their entirety. And so that video itself continues and shows a lot more of the features and functionality within that product while keeping it really moving forward. You know, these videos need to be short, to the point, and get across to your customers what they do. So this next video is a quick start training video. So this is for the same walking system that we just showed. Majority of the B-roll for this, or all the B-roll for this, was filmed when we filmed the original project. So this is a secondary deliverable as a training video from the same shoot that we were able to plan and capture everything at once. What we filmed for this separately was the individual showing the training, but that was also filmed on the same shoot days.
Welcome to the Quick Start Guide. Let's start with opening the covers. To open the cover, you open the hydraulic valve bank cover lids. With the lids closed, the system will air and not walk. So it is important to make sure to do this first.
So from that, you can see we developed a consistent style, and that style will be, you know, specific to that client and carried over through all their future training projects. And then we streamline the production schedule to film both that and the marketing promotional video and any other assets at the same time. So from where they were before then to where they are now, we now have a completed and created and implemented new video strategy, a common format across all of their assets, which are in line with consistent branding and their company voice. You know, content that they can now have an archive of and pull from for future video usage, and targeted directly to their audience. Another important factor is, you know, while creating these videos, having a single company-wide point of contact for approvals while things are progressing.
So like Aaron had said, you can go to these links to the videos that we just showed if you want to see the entire video. Some of them are 2 or 3 minutes long, and then the last one is one that we didn't show, but you saw some of the material done for the drone promo. It's a less than a minute promo that just has you know, MTV music with the shots, and it's kind of a teaser that we use for social media. So the key takeaway here is when we get asked about video production, one of the common questions that we get a lot of is, what kind of video would you like to do? And the answer we get is, well, I want some video that goes viral, or just make it viral. Well, for one, you know, what goes viral is pretty hard to predict. It's like winning the lottery. But it also could work against you too, because what might be viewed as something of interest could also be something that is of negative interest, and it could be bad for the brand. Or if you showed something that maybe got a lot of hits because it may have hurt someone or been derogatory or whatever it might be, but it's almost impossible. The point is, it's impossible to make a viral video. A similar type thing is make it more Hollywood. Well, we certainly can build in graphics. We can build in certain footage that makes things exciting. But if you're looking for things to blow up, that's also going to start getting into larger budgets. So those are not goals or sound strategy really that you should be going after. In reality, a video should accomplish, you know, several things. It needs to be of high quality, because we're a very image-oriented society. We understand what looks good, what doesn't, in a matter of nanoseconds, and we hit the back button on things that don't look good or of the quality that we expect. The video has to speak to the brand, the product, the service, and has to have a relevant message. And then the amplification part of it is you can't just show a video once and expect that people are going to remember it. It needs to be multiple times for people to pick up. Just think to your favorite, beer commercial, for example, or insurance commercial that you see. You have to see that 4 or 5 times for it to really resonate. Who's all in it? What's the message and why you're laughing? So there are different ways to go about doing that, but it needs some frequency.
And just to speak to that again, just really quick to what Kevin said, the quality of it is really important, having that professional level quality to how these look and feel. And it's because of not just carrying on your brand in that way, but the smart, video savvy customers. Everyone has a camera, everyone has a phone, everyone knows how these things look. And we want to be able to say, this is what this looks like. Now, while some brands have a DIY style, the only reason to do those style is if it speaks to your brand voice and that it's still something to work out within a video strategy as one of the streams in which your video is going. We have this DIY style stream, we have this pro style product launch, we have these event marketing launches. So video placement and distribution. It's sort of like the video's done, now what, right? And that sort of comes up with a lot of people. In managing your videos, you have to manage your videos internally for the ones that are going to employees, customers, and also what you're doing with them just to store them, which we touched on briefly. And then externally, where do we put them? Who's seeing them? How many eyeballs do we have? How do we analyze that? And how do we track it? There's a lot of video planning platforms, and people have a lot of choices now where to go to get their content. Distribution considerations, include file size, what size works for each method. Again, what aspect ratio? We talked to the square and the 16:9. And where are the eyeballs of your specific customer and who's interested in your product? And that's where you need to be. So Vimeo versus YouTube is interesting, and it sort of goes back and forth in a lot of ways. Our thoughts on this is that they're both viable platforms. YouTube reaches a lot of people. Vimeo is a professional quality hosting site that is really used to focus your brand and customize it. So with hosting, Vimeo we feel is a better approach in regards to being able to put your brand on it, customize where it goes, embed it on your website without taking up any extra room on that site, and not advertise for YouTube while doing it. And that's sort of a big factor with YouTube is Vimeo has a lot of different plans you can join for uploading, amounts of content, where it goes, how you can customize. YouTube, once you have a video on your website from a YouTube link, if I click on YouTube on that website, it goes to YouTube and you have a page there. And on that page is a bunch of other videos from other people that I might want to watch. But we don't want your customers to watch those videos. We don't want to go down that rabbit hole of, somehow every video links to a cat video and no one knows how it gets there, but that's the rabbit hole it goes down. So YouTube is a great video search engine, and the best case is to try to do a version of both, where Vimeo is something that you're working on for your website and for distributing to your customers directly. YouTube, a video search engine for people that might be interested, where it just comes up and they say, hey, I fell into this, and you rack up views just by people looking at it there. And you can also distribute it across other platforms as well.
And one other point, Vimeo does have a dashboard with some of their plans that give you a lot of analytics about how many times things have been played, the duration, those types of things, just like you would looking at analytics for a website. So selling this to upper management, pretty much this is the script of the presentation today and why we've given you the deck here. Hopefully there's a lot of trends and factual information in there that you can show is this is what is the market is requesting, this is how videos are being used, and this is why we think that this is a viable way to promote our products, brand, and services. So explaining the multi-format investment is also sound strategy in that, yes, it may seem expensive on the front end. However, it's even more expensive on the back end if you do one at a time versus considering what you might want to use if it's just two channels of distribution or 6 channels or 7 different ways to place it. Those are all important, and in the long run, it's going to make that budget and that investment much less. And then setting up the metrics and showing results. For example, if you want to do a video that tries to attract people to a fundraising event, and if that fundraising event mandates that at the end of the video they fill out a form and maybe give a donation, you can correlate the amount of donations to the actual video. And if the video is $1,000 and you got donations up to $3,000, it's a 3-to-1 payoff on your ROI. So, you know, being able to show how video fits into all those different areas and what it's attempting to try to get as a result is also important. But there's also present this confidently to your upper management, because, you know, even executives, if they're faced with being able to get information from text or from video, almost 60% of them say they are more inclined to choose in video in which to receive that information than reading text. So if we conclude here today, I think we've shown and demonstrated that video is a very effective, if not the most effective way to communicate information. And that information is, again, your brand, your product, your services. It's also the preferred way in which people want to receive information. We all want to be entertained. We all want to be spoon-fed when we're on a tight schedule. We all want to see sound bites instead of a 6-minute video. If a 6-minute video is there, we'll watch it, but we don't want to watch the whole program if we just want to see the highlights in a reduced format. So it's the preferred way in which we want to get spoon-fed our information. So if you want to do that, you must have a content, a marketing and distribution strategy to make it most effective. So this should be part of everybody's sales and marketing strategy for 2019 and beyond. So with that, and I just want to say the last takeaway, even though Ben Franklin is not recent, his message still is relevant today. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So that's where we're suggesting that you plan a video marketing strategy. And with that, Kate, how did we do?
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Aaron and Kevin. Really appreciate that. I will remind our audience they are welcome to ask the question. Just type your question in the webinar dashboard and we will present that to our speakers here today. I do have a couple of questions here for you both. I think you have a convert here asking about an initial consultation. Do you offer an opportunity to come out and speak to some of the people on the line today with a consultation to talk to them a little more detail about their video marketing strategy?
Absolutely. Yes. You know, this, for some companies that this is a brand new initiative, they're going to be asking a lot of questions. They're going to need to know what the process is, how it works, what the pricing is, what they can expect in terms of the time. And really what we do with our clients is we try to set up a production calendar. Columbia Industries, for example, they want to introduce 3 new products next year. Well, there's a lot of different components for each one of those products, whether it's a brochure or a new page on the website or a video or a trade show introduction or you know, a training video. So yes, we will meet and to have that initial meeting. Where we draw the line, really, I think it's fair to say, is if that meeting turns into, here's our company and here's our product, what are your ideas on what we do, you know, to do the video, that's a little beyond just the scope for initial. Or if we're asked to come in and sell the concept to management, you know, that would have to be discussed as well. But generally speaking, there's no charge for the initial consultation.
Wonderful. We have a question here. Can we use existing footage to make a new video?
So with existing footage, it always I like to say it's always possible, so you're saying there's a chance, right? We can use the footage that we have. But it really comes down to a lot of factors. So video, like we talked about before with the investment in it, video content in terms of capturing video is changing consistently. If someone has previously existing video that was shot on a phone, on a DSLR, on other types of cameras and not in 4K, and we're filming everything in 4K, you want to keep that consistent look and brand that we're building, and it would be a little more difficult to work that in. If there is something that you filmed, say, at an event, and we're doing a retrospective type video where we're showing photos and videos throughout the years, we're using multiple formats of that video, but actually be part of the look and feel, right? This is what it looks like in 1975. That would be fantastic to have that footage. So there's always possibilities to use existing footage, and we also like to be able to build the new footage to focus on a new look and feel for the company.
Wonderful. Thank you, Aaron and Kevin. We appreciate you sharing your considerable expertise with us today. I will want to remind people here that there is a copy of the presentation under the Handout tab. You're welcome to download your own copy and share it with your peers, as well as we'll send a recording out of this presentation. Also under the Handout tab is a list of upcoming PNDC events. We will have our annual dinner next Tuesday, November 13th, featuring a member of NASA's Office of Chief Technologist, as well as Rear Admiral Gray with the Navy Northwest Regional Command. We do also have networking events at Northwest National Labs in Seattle the end of November, and one at the Oregon Manufacturing Innovation Center on December 12th. And don't miss our next webinar on December 12th, Responding to Federal RFPs, Proposal Foundations. So thank you all. I really appreciate everyone joining us. Our attendees will receive a brief 3-question survey following the webinar, and we'd really appreciate your feedback. So thank you, Kevin and Aaron, again. The
Thank you,
webinar has
everybody.
now.
Thanks very much.